the HDPB committee is able to bring in all the governance that is required by the Ministry of Tourism. The PCI DSS committee, HFTP, Mr. Frank Wolf is here, Mr. Raman Rama is here. They'll be talking to us about this PCI DSS because there are forerunners of the PCI DSS codes in the USA. And the 5-year plan committee. This is the 5 years that today FHRI is able to think forward about how every year FHRI will pick up tasks which are only focused on this. A president who moves out gives a baton to the next president on a relay to say, this is what I hand over to you for you to action in the coming year. I just talk about tourism because that will be something which all our friends tomorrow will be talking about. Where we rank, you can just look at these figures and understand for yourself. Where the tourism for foreign tourist arrivals in India started, where are we today? 6.29 2011 foreign tourist arrivals. We are at 7.8% this year. Foreign exchange earnings, 16.56 billion US dollars coming in only from foreign tourists. In spite of all this, our share in the entire world tourism is just 0.58%. And the minister is looking at taking that 0.58 to 1%. Foreign exchange earnings for various years. The domestic tourists, as the minister was saying, what is the increase, what are the folds that add up to these numbers? 740 million tourists did not travel this year, they traveled in 2010, 2 years back. Dr. Heidi, this is for you. There are 13 countries which already have a visa on arrival in different states in India, and there are 13 more that are being added to this visa on arrival. We've been able to give 12,761 visa on arrivals in 2011 and 5,857 in this year. And for July, these are the figures that we've been able to get from the Ministry of Tourism. The first continent that gives the maximum tourist in foreign arrivals in India is Western Europe, followed by North America, followed by all of them. The average stay 3.3 days for a foreign tourist in India, and as we were telling the Chief Minister day before yesterday in Maharashtra, the tourist doesn't even spend one night in Mumbai. They have the highest number of foreign tourists arriving in Maharashtra in Mumbai, but not one tourist stays back. People just touch Mumbai and then move off. We had an analysis done by our friend Pradeep Madhavji which said, if we are able to make our tourists stay for one more night, we are able to get 352 crores of rupees, which amounts to 7.83 million US dollars if a tourist is made to stay one extra day in that state. But as Dr. Ghassan Heidi was victim to a visa red tape, this is the state we are getting into. We have to desist from getting into a tourism unfriendly country to a tourism friendly country. The spend that the government has done in the 12th 5-year plan is encouraging. We'd asked for 25,000, we got 21,500 crores spread over the next 5 years. And the government is today ready to spend US 1.5 billion compared to what they were spending in these earlier years. This is a slide which shows you where our spending goes. The state of Sikkim was the only state which was able to spend 1% of the total expenditure that the government had partaken for tourism allocation. The rest of the states didn't even bother to spend that amount. The theme of our convention, employment, and a lot of it will be spoken about. Friends, if you look at this slide, it shows you 2,444 hotel members of FHRI having 1,47,637 rooms, 1,191 seats, restaurants as restaurant members, a total of 3,767 members of FHRI, covering about 85% of the country. The cost per key, an average worked out is for luxury we spend 1 crore 25 lakhs, upper scale 85 to 125, upscale 60 lakhs to 85 lakhs per room. These are the figures that would help you do your presentations over the next 2 days. The demand highest today in the city is for the NCR region. Mumbai follows Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Jaipur, Chennai, places to invest for the future. HVS has given a count which is close to ours, and in the near 5 to 8 years, the ICRA says there will be about an addition of 65,000 to a lakh of rooms coming into India. 1.5 million food outlets estimated in the country. Now when we look at the employment figures, these are the figures that give a shock to anybody who looks at India as an investment opportunity. 337 training institutes churning out 63,000 students, out of which 22,000 are grads and undergrads, looking at a shortage of 13,84,000 rooms with a density of 204 employees per 100 rooms and 152 employees between a 1-star and a 3-star. We're looking at 35% trained staff in our hotels, and therefore these are the staggering figures of the demand that we have. In this year, 5,13,000 new jobs, 6,35,000 in 16-17, 8,64,000 in 21-22. Most of these, 70% of them are women who are working in this industry, and we have people who are 25 and under as a majority of our employment. When the minister said in his speech today, I want to just increase the share from 0.6 to 1%, just look at where the foreign tourist arrivals are pitched, look at where the domestic travel is pitched, and what is the amount of investment required, how much is the foreign exchange going to be, what is the total employment that we are going to generate over the next 5 years. A few figures again to show you what we are substantiating as an employment generator. When Vivek said from 53 million, we are going to add another 44 million jobs in the coming 5 years. $25,98 is the total employment between 2002 and 2010. These are the figures for 2010 because that was what was shared with us by the National Council. When the minister said about pro-poor tourism, this is where we came from. We employ people who are not necessarily required to be engineers and doctors. We employ people from the semi-skilled and the unskilled category, and therefore that creates multiplier effect, and therefore we are today selling this idea to the PMO's Prime Minister's office, saying we are the solution to the pro-poor tourism. Hunar Se Rozgar, each and every speech had a mention of where these figures are coming from. We are only able to churn out in 2011-12 27,000 students from our catering colleges. The target given to us for Hunar Se Rozgar by the ministry, 2012, you have to train 53,000 employees. Tomorrow you will have a Ministry of Tourism official talking about what is required from Hunar Se Rozgar for classification. If you don't have those numbers trained, you will not get your classification or reclassification done. Targets 1,07,000 or Hunar Se Rozgar churnouts in the next 5 years. I'm not getting too much into detail about the expectations. I've been given a time to stop at 7. I'm coming to an end to my presentation about what these problems are, because there's an audio visual that's going to be played right now to give you where the industry is going. just to touch up upon one or two facts, the infrastructure status, the minister mentioned in the last NTAC meeting that within 6 months he should be able to resolve this anomaly of a tourism project not getting infrastructure status if it's in a non-city with more than 1 million population. The industry status that has been accorded by each and every state, if you look at this chart, it shows you out of the 35 odd states, there are 15 states which on this kind of a platform, a tourism minister will come and say, I am declaring Goa as, Kerala as, Kashmir as hotel industry to be treated as an industry. That doesn't percolate down to the bureaucracy. None of our electricity duties, none of our water charges, none of our property taxes come from the commercial residential to an industrial tariff. This is what we have to advocate to our ministries, to our government, to actually implement the industry status in spirit that Orissa has done, that the state of Goa has done. They have actually declared it as an industry and given the entire SOPs to the industry. A few problems I was discussing with the IHNRA president yesterday. We have VAT, we have luxury tax which is going to the states, and then you have a service tax which comes in from the center saying we are lost out in the kitty, you better charge 12% extra, and then there is multiple taxation and there is all kinds of lawsuits going across with the country. You don't allow an industry to flourish if it works on double taxation, and therefore the demand that the industry has put across the ministry, please bring in the GST, the DTC as soon as you can. That will solve all these problems that we have with taxation. All these taxes are going to be clubbed under GST. The tax structures range from 5% to 43% for this industry, which is unheard of. China, Japan, all the countries that today talk about 30 million, 40 million tourists have an average of 7, 8, 9% taxes. UK is today at 17.6% tax, and India is hovering at indirect tax of 43 or direct tax of 25%. The Incredible India campaign spent this amount, and we are talking about getting the ministry to spend the entire 25,000 that they've allocated for the tourism industry in these promotions. The peculiarities of our industry, why we are deserving this 6.2 million tourists. I'll just leave with this last thought. Please bear in mind this was discussed with the Planning Commission to roll down 4 problems that we need to look at in the coming 5 years, which is land availability, employment, talent crunch, fuel and water. I'll end my presentation with this. We'll request people who are going to talk for tomorrow to take these issues and discuss points pertaining to promotion of tourism, discuss about issues that we are able to create employment generation, how we are getting into social media marketing. All these topics are there on your handbook. Thank you, gentlemen, and wish all of you a splendid stay in Goa for the next 3 days.